Ever wondered what people did thousands of years ago to spice up their love lives? Buckle up because we are about to dive into the wild and sometimes dangerous world of ancient aphrodisiacs. Welcome to Season 3 of Roots Revealed. I'm Binish aka Beans, your guide to the fascinating history, culture, and science of plants. Together, we'll uncover how plants have shaped civilizations, ecosystems, and our understanding of the natural world. Let's kick off our next episode. Before chemistry labs, before clinical trials, and before anything resembling modern science, there was the garden. And in the garden, people believed lived the answers to some of the most desperate longings. The ancient Greeks even named this entire pursuit after a goddess, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and desire. Her name gave us the word aphrodisiac, and it wasn't just a symbol. She was, in the mythology of the time, actively involved. According to legend, it was Aphrodite herself who planted the first pomegranate tree. The myrtle plant was her sacred bloom, woven into bridal crowns, planted beside homes to attract romantic fortune. That's the mythology, beautiful, poetic. But the reality of what people actually consumed in the name of desire? That's a very different story. Let's start in the garden. Ancient Greeks had a thing for bulbs and roots. They believed garlic and onions could activate passion because, well, they looked like human testes. This was called sympathetic magic, the idea that like affects like. Leeks got the same treatment. Their stiff, phallic shape was thought to transfer that quality to men who ate them. And then there was the onion more broadly. It has been mentioned as an aphrodisiac not just by the Greeks but by ancient Egyptians, Arabs, Persians, and Romans. Priests in Egypt and Persia were reportedly forbidden from eating onions in order to maintain celibacy. The belief was that potent. In France, the tradition lasted well into early modern times. Newlyweds were advised to eat onion soup the morning after their wedding to restore their passion. But if onion was the folk remedy, the mandrake was the obsession. But no plant carried more mythological weight than mandrake. And when you understand what people believed about it, you'll understand why. The mandrake has a long forked taproot that can look disturbingly like a human body. Under the so-called doctrine of signatures, a medieval idea that God had shaped plants to signal their purpose, this humanoid plant was taken as proof of reproductive power. People slept with mandrake roots under their pillows, they added it to their wine. Never mind that mandrake is toxic, that didn't stop anyone. The Greeks were obsessed with it. The botanist Theophrastus, writing in the 4th century, described how scraping the root skin and stirring it into wine produced a potent love potion. Aphrodite herself was known by the epithet or nickname Mandragoritis. She, of the mandrake. Even in the Hebrew Bible, in the book of Genesis, the childless Rachel desperately trades with her sister Leah for mandrakes brought in from the fields, treating them as a fertility charm. This is one of the oldest recorded plant aphrodisiac stories in all of literature. In medieval Europe, the mythology deepened and darkened. German folklore claimed that the plant grew from the ground beneath gallows, nourished by what dripped from hanged men. It was believed that mandrake could only be safely uprooted in moonlight after prayer and ritual using a black dog tied to the plant by a cord. And if you pulled it from the earth carelessly, legend said it would shriek, a sound so terrible it could drive you mad. People still used it. The screaming didn't stop them. Nothing ever did. Then there was a plant called Satyrion, an orchid from classical Greece named after the lustful satyrs of mythology, and the claims made about it were extraordinary. The botanist Theophrastus wrote that it could produce 70 consecutive acts of sex from a single dose. Some Roman sources suggested you didn't even need to eat it. Holding the root in your hand was said to be enough. The demand was so intense, the harvesting so relentless, that Satyrion was driven to extinction, gone forever. A plant wiped from the face of the earth because people believed in its power so completely that they consumed every last one. But this is not a cautionary tale from a myth. This is what actually happened. Moving on from roots and orchids, in ancient Egypt, pomegranate juice mixed with wine was a popular aphrodisiac. But here's a surprise: lettuce. For over 3,000 years, Egyptians considered it highly lustful. The god Min, associated with reproduction, was often depicted with it. Meanwhile, the Greeks and Romans sometimes believed fresh lettuce had the opposite effect. Same plant, completely contradictory beliefs. Artichokes have their own legend. According to Greek myth, Zeus transformed a girl named Sinara into an artichoke, prickly on the outside, soft within. The Greeks believed eating them would spark sexual desire and even help produce male children. Fast forward to 17th century Sweden, where wives supposedly use artichokes to rekindle their husband's interest. Asparagus, with its shape and rapid growth, was believed to cure erectile dysfunction. French nobles reportedly ate large amounts before their wedding nights. The Kama Sutra recommended an asparagus and milk base, while Renaissance herbals praise asparagus wine, saying, quote, "stirreth up lust." And saffron. The ancient Greeks prized it so highly that Aristotle himself reportedly used it to spice up his food and his love life. And then there was datura, powerful and deadly, popular in ancient India as a hallucinogen that could kill. In ancient Colombia, datura was allegedly used to drug the wives of dead chieftains so that they can be buried alive alongside their husbands. We've gone from Aphrodite's garden to a burial ground rather quickly. That's the pattern here. The aphrodisiac tradition rarely stayed poetic for long. This is where things get especially risky. Spanish fly has been used since ancient Greek times, but it is not a plant. It is made from crushed beetles and it contains cantharidin, a toxic compound that causes blistering, painful prolonged erections, and far more often poisoning. Some historians believe it contributed to the death of Ferdinand II of Aragon. Other substances were far stranger. In many East Asian and South American cultures, mashed worms mixed with herbs were used as sexual stimulant. Cobra blood in rice wine has been used in parts of Asia since around the 10th century. They were potentially deadly, capable of causing cardiac issues and heart attacks. In medieval Italy, lovesick individuals were advised to steal a consecrated communion host for potions. Some recipes called for human ingredients: sweat, blood, skin, and hair. In ancient Rome, gladiator sweat was collected and sold as an aphrodisiac. What's striking is how far people were willing to go. Beetles, worms, sweat, blood. The garden was long behind them now. At some point, this stopped being about desire. It became about desperation. Aphrodisiacs didn't just exist in secret, they caused real scandals. After his wife died, King Ferdinand II of Aragon married a much younger woman. Desperate for a male heir, he reportedly used potions containing Spanish fly, which may have contributed to his death in 1516. At the court of the King of France Louis XIV, his mistress Madame de Montespan became entangled in the affair of the poisons. Rumors claim that she used love potions on the king's food and even participated in black masses to secure his affection. She eventually fell from favor. Women throughout history were also accused of witchcraft for allegedly using love potions. In 17th century New Mexico, Inquisition records show women convicted of administering mixtures containing mashed worms, herbs, and bodily fluids. These weren't just legends. People died, were executed, or had their lives destroyed, all because of the belief that the right plant, the right mixture, could control love and desire. Even today, the aphrodisiac market carries serious risks beneath slick marketing and natural labels. Some herbal aphrodisiacs sold online have been found to contain hidden pharmaceuticals such as sildenafil or tadalafil. In one study of 15 sexual stimulation products, most contained undeclared synthetic drugs. One sample reportedly contained enough tadalafil to pose severe health risks, especially for individuals taking heart medication. These products are marketed for sexual enhancement, yet their benefits are unproven and their risks often concealed. Forensic experts investigating suspected drug-facilitated assaults have been warned to screen for such supplements because of their hidden ingredients. In one case, a defendant claimed to have given several women an aphrodisiac that instead caused severe intoxication. Subsequent analysis of similar products revealed dangerous combinations of undeclared substances, including prescription erectile dysfunction medications, yohimbine, hormones, and in some instances GHB, notoriously known as the date rape drug. There are also natural ingredients that are far from harmless, herbs like tackweed and barrenwood, animal products like cane toad secretions and Spanish fly. While some herbal substances may have milder physiological effects, others carry real risk of poisoning or misuse. The bottles may say herbal and natural. The labels may look nothing like medieval herbal manuscript, but the logic is the same as it was in ancient Greece. The belief that the right plant, the right root, the right mixture holds the secret. The point is that the ancient aphrodisiac trade never disappeared, it simply adapted. For most of history, people believed deeply in aphrodisiacs. By the mid 1800s, emerging medical science increasingly categorized many of them as ineffective or fraudulent. An entire orchid species had already been wiped from the earth. Countless others had poisoned, killed, or destroyed the lives of those who believed in them. The pursuit of desire is timeless. The methods have always been questionable. From Aphrodite's garden to a bottle of unlabeled pills, the belief never died. Only the people did.
Thank you for tuning into Roots Revealed. Support the show by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and sharing episodes with friends and family. If you have any feedback or suggestions, reach out to me at hello@rootsrevealed.org. Remember to keep exploring your roots and celebrating the rich diversity of our shared history. See you next time. Bye.